Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Mensen van die Kaapse vlakte, hoop het gaat goed samen met jullie. Yep, jullie zijn in de studio in. Vandaan, Wouters, idee, ANC, allemaal uit wat hier is. Nou, speel me niet. We're going to talk politics, not politics tonight. We're going to talk about the tobacco bill, but also the challenges of the informal traders. I've got a group of vibrant people here. Everybody has a story to tell. Everybody knows about informal traders. And I think this is a good conversation for you guys to get involved with. Send your questions. I'll read it later on. But without any further ado, I'll introduce the young lady next to me. She can tell us what's her name and tell us more about herself.
Assalamu alaikum, good evening, Mawani, bonjour to all the nations of South Africa who's watching. I am so grateful to be part of this discussion tonight. I'm Rosheda Muller and I am the president of NITASA, the National Informal Traders Alliance of South Africa, and I've been an informal trader myself for the past 35 years. That enough or you want more?
For so long. Then we can go maybe to the lady next to you.
Hi, good evening. My name is Lucretia Eckardt and I'm the secretary for the Western Cape Informal Traders Coalition.
Perfect. The young man next to her.
Thank you very much, Stan. Good evening, everybody. Grant Marais. I'm a member of the Freedom Front Plus and a member of the Western Cape Parliament for my party. And I'm happy to be here. Thanks, Stan.
Awesome.
As hulle hier so wegtrek. My name is Stanley Jacobs. I'm a councillor in the city of Cape Town. I'm also the Patriotic Alliance's mayoral candidate in the city. And I'm very excited to be a part of the panel today.
Awesome, thank you. And hoppa, hoya!
Ja, naast me Eckardt mensen van de NCC, Cape Town, City of Cape Town Councillor, and deployed by the National Colored Congress.
Thank you, Ms. Mead. Thank you, everybody. So tonight, the conversation will be about the tobacco bill. Rosheda, what is the problem? What is the pros and the cons? We want to hear from you. What will the small businesses face if this gets implemented?
Yeah, Stanley, thank you for that. You know, the tobacco bill started many years ago. I remember myself and the General Secretary then went up to Pretoria to engage the Department of Monitoring and Evaluation because we felt that we were left out. This huge sector, the informal economy is so huge, it's probably much bigger than even the formal economy. The statistics of informal workers is 6 million plus, and yet we are not given the platform that we deserve. So that was around 2016 when we started engaging on the tobacco bill. Even then, we made it clear to government, look, we understand and we agree. We agree with regulation. There is no problem. We have to be regulated as the informal sector per se.
Yeah.
So, however, there are thousands upon thousands, especially women, who are on the taxi ranks, the street corners, every market where they sell cigarettes. They sell loose cigarettes because it's a quick turnover, especially the bus route, where the buses, the taxis, and where they stop. You know, the commuters run past, and the walker is there. They don't want to buy a packet. A packet is too much money. So they go, give me 2 lossies, and I give them like 2 lossies. But the tobacco bill is going to criminalize those who sell loose cigarettes as well as those who display cigarettes. Yeah. Now, those are the 2 most important points that we want amended as NITASA, as the informal sector, because there is no jobs.
Yes.
Let's face it, all of us. The unemployment rate is so high. If government can give an alternative to the sale of cigarettes, then fine. People will be able to go on with their livelihoods. But no Gogo, no Oma is going to beg tonight without her children being fed. And how is she getting that money? She's getting that money by selling cigarettes, amongst other things like chips and sweets, etc. But cigarettes is a fast-moving product. And it's not illegal. If we want to talk illegal, let's go to drugs. But okay, it's not the subject for tonight. But we should maybe touch on it because it is something that is causing great harm to our society and to our youth. We believe there are health conditions. We do believe and we support the bill with regard to health. But we are saying education, education, education. Teach a child from sub A already, or sub B, oh no, you don't call that anymore. I'm giving my age away tonight. That's terrible. Grade 1 and 2 and 3.
There we go.
You can imagine I have 35 years of knowledge within this subject. So, we believe that children should be educated to the harms of the tobacco, right? But we are saying unemployment is not going to go away. And the people on the streets, the local informal traders, are making their livelihoods from this product. So it has to be reconsidered. And another very important thing, even in 2016, when myself and the secretary went up to Pretoria, they haven't even consulted us officially. Even up till today, we have written so many, we did so many submissions, all the provinces. Remember, NITASA is a national movement. We have provincial structures in every province. And we submitted our submissions went in, and we asked for oral presentations to explain why, government, we cannot allow this to happen. And yet I was offered an oral opportunity, and it was taken away 2-3 days later. So I've not had an opportunity to speak orally to Parliament, to the Portfolio Committee, about the challenges that the informal sector is facing currently.
If I may jump in, one of the things that you said that stuck out to me was that it moves quickly, right? Cigarettes fly. That's what happens at the shop. We must get the big elephant out of the room here. Because they fly so fast, it's impossible to do identification on somebody that's you selling a cigarette to. This is a bill that can put a seller, a trader, in jail for 20 years if they sell to a minor, if they sell illegally to a minor. Now, the reason I say this is because you have 17-year-olds that look 20.
Yes.
You've got 17-year-olds that look very, very old. And this bill will put the trader in jail for 20 years. So when we look at this perspective, we must look at what it's going to do to families. Can you imagine having to explain to your family, number one, I can't put bread on the table anymore. Number two, I am going to jail for 20 years. I've been alive for 24 years. You want to put people in jail for almost as long as I've been on this earth. And that is what this bill seeks to do. Among other things, there's a lot of different punishments, and I'm sure we'll get into that later. But the bill itself is attacking informal traders. That is the reality. And if it's attacking informal traders, what is it doing? It is taking bread off of the tables of our families. And tables that are only served by these traders, by people who are selling at a taxi rank, by people who are selling, like you say, in their shops. And they are not given any opportunity, not given any different way of doing it. They are saying you are on your own overnight. You are being criminalized overnight. And there's various other things in the bill that we'll get into, such as the distance to schools, such as the advertising. I mean, if we talk about the advertising, one of the most heinous things that exists in this bill is that woman that is selling at a taxi rank in Khayelitsha, she'll have a cigarette box here on her table. If a Metro Police walks by, that Metro Police can imprison her for 10 years.
Just having a box there.
Just for having a box on the table. Where else is she going to put it? Must she put it under the table? No, she cannot. So this bill is not addressing the bigger elephants in the room. Instead, it's attacking the little man. It's attacking the little woman who doesn't own a big retail shop. She's not game. He's not Pick and Pay. He is Hanifa's informal traders. It's a spaza shop. And that is who's under attack here. And I think that is the thing we must acknowledge in this discussion.
Awesome.
Yes. Grant can go ahead.
Stan, I think one thing we haven't mentioned yet tonight
Yeah.
is that in 2020, when we had the COVID pandemic,
Yeah.
we
Yes.
saw a spike in the number of illicit cigarettes
That's
that entered
South Africa.
the space. So this bill, and I agree with what Liam has said, it is an unfair bill that wants to address the illicit cigarette trading that's going on. But at the same time, it gives a death sentence to the businesses of the poor
Yes.
who survive on the sales of loose cigarettes. So we understand that the government had the intention of saying, man, we've got a problem here. Children are, are having easy access via vending machines. But that was also in the previous legislation, in the existing legislation. There is already regulation in place, sufficient regulation in place. So I think that this is not going to go off well in terms of our poor communities who have to survive on a daily basis. On the Cape Flats, we have very few opportunities,
That's right.
very few economic opportunities, very few employment opportunities. So now we must go and make a plan, and the people say, man, verkoop sigarettes, dan gaan jy jou geld maak, kan jy weer aangaan vir die dag soos Liam gesê het.
Ja.
So ek glo dat ons het natuurlik simpatie vir die ek dink ons het natuurlik ons verstaan dat daar is kinders wat toegang het tot sigarette wat ons moet address, right? But the other issue is that the poor that cannot survive any other way will be given, their businesses will be given a death sentence, to say. And then what are we left with? So I think that it's important, on the other hand, we also realize that with this bill, they want to address the health risks. Because a lot of people don't know how harmful this is, So that is also something that the bill wants to address. And then, of course, it wants to completely repeal the existing tobacco bill. That is what they intend doing. But I do think that if we are going to make something work, like Ms. Rosheda said, education is the key. Education. We cannot just write laws and think that it's going to solve all the problems. And then, Stan, I just want to, one more thing before I give over to someone else, is that we have a crime problem in this country. We have syndicates operating. And we know that our tax income has dropped from the sale of this particular product. So the government wants to address that problem, but I do think that we must have a further discussion on what are the solutions to all the alternatives. Maybe we'll get to it later.
Yeah, maybe we must look at it at a different angle, because we all know who's going to suffer at the end of the day. It's going to be the poor people. But who's going to be the biggest winner out of this? This is what we must look at. From everything that comes forth, there will be a winner and there will be losers. So who's going to be the biggest winner? That we don't discuss that. That we need to discuss. This all was given to them, printed to the public. Because you must remember, most of these political parties, they have handlers, they have funders. And who is these funders? They are the people that make decisions for the political parties. When they go to Parliament, they sit at that round table. They don't make decisions in favor of the people. They make decisions in favor of the funders, the handlers. Understand? So who's going to win when this bill gets approved? That is what we must look at. Because remember, COVID, like I said, COVID, how much money was lost during COVID? 100 billion rand. What did government do to stop this illegal cigarette market? Nothing. Nothing. Why? Ask yourself why. Maybe government is involved with the illegal cigarette market. It was said the cigarette ban will end at this date and that date, and it was prolonged for another few months. Because that time they flooded the market with these illegal cigarettes. And it's still in our shops today. So who's the biggest winner today? We must look at that. We know who's the biggest loser. It's the people here that resides among us. But who will be the biggest winner? Remember, when these funders do not get their way, they withdraw their money. And what will political parties do? They will sit and engage with the other opposition so that this bill will go and it gets approved. Because if it doesn't get approved, the funding will be taken away. So it isn't about the people here. We know the people is going to be the biggest losers. We must look at the biggest winners. And once we know who's the biggest winners, then it will all make sense for us.
We must follow the money.
Follow the money.
If we're talking about the money, you say illegal trade, ne? Do you know how much money is lost through illegal cigarette trading? 30 billion rand.
Ja.
30 biljoen.
Per year,
Miljard.
right?
Per year. What is 30 billion?
That's the sales. That's the sales.
That's tax revenue. That's the tax revenue. So if I give the perspective,
Ja.
my president, Caitlin McKenzie, is the Minister of Sports, Arts and Culture. The budget of that entire department is 6 billion. That is 5 sports, arts and culture departments.
Yeah.
That is how much money
That
is
goes-
missing. So when you say this is stealing from the people, it's stealing 30 billion rand from the people. So instead of targeting the people upstream, the ones that are busy giving the cigarettes,
Yeah.
giving the illegal cigarettes, the bill targets the trader. The trader who's making it by.
Yeah.
The poorest of the poor. And you got to acknowledge that cigarettes, they are that last bit in the calculation for your profit. That's the last little bit that you need to put bread on your table and to keep your lights on at home. So if you take that away, there's going to be families that must choose between keeping their lights on or putting bread on the table. And their light has just come on. So we've chosen the light. But the reality is we must look at what is going to be benefiting our families the most. And what's going to benefit us the most is something that is not punitive.
Ja.
It's wat nie ons mense so sleg nie.
Ja, ja.
It's going to be something that helps, that educates, and it's also going to be something that makes compliance easier.
Ja.
Not this difficult 200 million pages, one-page compliance, micro license,
Yes.
klaar dit soos.
Ja, ja. Lucretia, over to you.
Okay, so as an informal trader myself, working formal sector as well as because of there not being jobs, I was forced into the so-called informal sector. Trading is in our blood. Get it out there. Prior to colonialism, Cape Town was a trading station.
Yes.
Who was here to trade with the ships? Kamisi people.
Koi and a Sam.
This colored, why must we be labeled as coloreds? Why? Because the proper terminology would be Kamisi people. The tribes has been wiped out. We don't know our heritage. But we were traders. We traded amongst ourselves. The problem with trading is we are looked at as a stain on our cities, as nuisances on the pavement. But who built this country? Traders send their children to school, to university. How? Going through storms, sitting on that pavement, whether it's sunshine or rain. Now, another law wants to be passed to disadvantage not just the traders, but any individual that has the idea of starting a business. Because it's not just the informal sector that's going to suffer. Formal business is going to suffer. Your two friends starting up a vape business, they don't have money behind them. It's going to affect them. Loose cigarettes. People, yes, there's a health issue. We all agree with that. There's no not harnessing this or that. Yes, but the ripple effect of the laws that is being passed in our country is not being taken into account. The ballot bill, first and foremost, another one. The ripple effect is destroying our homes and our families. A 6-year-old stands with a cigarette. Mother comes, wants to give the child a hiding. What does the child turn around and tell the mother? Moenie aan my slakkie, ek gaan vir jou aangee by die boere. Where does the child learn it? On school. because it's considered abuse. Our parents' hands is being tied up to discipline. Government cannot control their own. Why do they want to put their foot in our homes so that we
Tell us, yeah.
can rear a proper generation? We have got everything within us to make our country great, to make our community great. But we are being sidelined, and it's like our hands are being tied up by these laws and regulations. But the illegal traders, they fly by. They are rolling in the money. You get taken off from a prime site to a regulated site. We hardly earn. Illegal trade pops up, nothing gets done. 2020, lockdown, mask, nothing in South Africa. Who flooded the markets? The informal sector. That goga or auntie that could sit on a machine, they made the mask. They flooded to protect our country. And got lifted, and citizens get brushed aside as if they are nothing.
Say something quickly. You see this, you must understand this. This is Liam. He sells apples. Nasmi sells bananas. Stan sells potatoes. Karan sells onions. What they do is they take us away. They take us away again. Who's the biggest winner? By taking us away, the small ones, you need to go to the big shops. You go to fruit and veg. You need to go buy, purchase now your goods by the shops now. They're not creating opportunities for us to trade, to get a permit alone.
Yeah, no,
It's a
nightmare.
It's a nightmare. So now when we remove Liam, you remove Nasmi, you remove Stan from selling on the streets, where do our people go to? To the big businesses. So the big businesses, they will be the biggest winners at the end of the day.
That's right.
And it's not only the trade, it's starting because we are allowing them to take this away from us. And like she said, our people started this business with donkey carra. Before the Democratic Alliance was here, our people traded already. And when we trade on a spot, we know why we trade there, because it's a hot spot. In Gatesville, they want to move the traders from a hot spot to a sidewalk. The people is not going to come there. They know where's the lady with the eggs.
Convenient.
These people don't understand our communities. They doesn't understand the dynamics of trading. Hulle het nog nooit gebruik nie. Hy gaan Shoprite toe, hy gaan Pick n Pay toe. Ons mense weet, na barang, gaan my koekies koop by die Zoepa, gaan my eiers koop by Boetaleeman. Hulle weet al wie's waar, hulle weet al wat gaat hulle kry. Hoe kan hulle kry die oning gesit? Sy wil hy mense van 30, 40 jaar wegvat. Dis hier spot nie. En nou die was my oupa se spot. En die was sy oupa se spot. So as iets wat sy afgepas het.
It's legacy.
But now they want to take us away from there and put us on the sidewalk. Ons het nie geld maak op die sidewalk nie. Nou wanneer ons mense object, dan sê hulle vir ons, dis vir die beste van ons mense. Die enigste mense wat gaan baat van die business op die sidewalk, is die manne wat die dak gaat opsit, die manne wat die I-beam gaat supply, en die manne wat die project gaat complete. Daar hebben lente hier, stupid traders onder het dak. Down center, illegal foreigners onder die dak. Ons mense het die trade gekry. Want ons mense se goods word geconfiskeer. Nou, die man koop 2-4 rand sy goods. Hy vat sy goede. By die tyd wat hy sy goods kry, dan sit vrot of is af. Of hy kry nie net sy goods terug en hy kon dis nie. But when we object to these things, we are said we are criminals and we are savages. But we are trying to provide an honest income. But when we do these things, we are being attacked. So what is the solution for our situation? There is no solution. They want to eliminate each and every shop owner, each and every trader. Again, who's going to be the biggest winner?
Again, you're saying it now. It's so important. I left out a few points, I think, that all came back to me. The one thing is, remember, in this new bill, you're not allowed to have any specialized packaging. So there's a standardized packaging for your cigarette. Now you're going to know which one is illegal or which one is legal. The illegal trade is a major problem. It is not the informal traders' problem. Even if some of them selling it, it's a policing issue. It's a SAPS issue. But always there is not enough capacity. Now we say, let's self-manage the markets. Give us the markets. We have been in trading 30, 40 years. On the Grand Parade, we've had leases for the last 35 years. What they're doing to us, they're taking the leases away from us. They want to give us a permit system, which I refer to as a dom pass. But now, you know, I don't know if you read Hanif Kamar, and I want to mention his name tonight. His father, 40 years ago, started a fruit and veg business opposite the Goodwood Mall. His father passed on, his mother's blind, he's married, he's got 4 children. Hanif Kamar took over that bay. But the mall that came after Hanif Kamar, they want Hanif out. A few weeks ago, they took Hanif out. Now, NITASA has been busy with the city of Cape Town because, you know, we have a city platform called the Cape Peninsula Informal Traders Forum, which represent about 50, 60 organizations in Cape Peninsula. So we engaged the city of Cape Town. He said, bylaws and permits and trading plans cannot be set in stone. You cannot just take the livelihood of someone that has built up a business for decades and you destroyed him. They took him away. They took him away about a month ago. We are still trying to go for legal assistance to get him back there. What is even more sad is that the Goodwood, the building, is owned by a black business empowerment company. I contacted them. And they said, no, we got nothing to do with it. Then it was again that it was the councillor that wanted to, the residents are complaining. This man is the most beautiful, beloved, quiet man. He has built up thousands of customers. Who is he impacting upon? A little man like this impacting on a national mall? We have to really get our rules and regulations and legislation correct. We engaged for 4 years to keep Kamar there. Then they came, they took his stock. He had to buy his stock back.
From them.
From them, which half was rotten. He said to me that some of the products were not there, and they put him into the trading plan. Where's the trading plan? Deadlocked. There's 12 or 15 bays. Nobody's standing there. Why? It's not a viable area.
Whose trading plan is this?
This is the city of Cape Town.
Not surprised, are we?
The city, no.
Say the DA because we also city of Cape Town councillors.
Look, what we need to realize is we are fighting very hard as informal trading organizations for collaboration. You want to do a trading plan, we want to do regular across the table. Not like when Mr. Alderman Voss says, oh, we have 270 million rand for the informal sector development. Then the leadership of the informal sector, us, Lucky, people from all over, Jasmine Page from Mitchell's Plain and others, Atlantis, all of us are on board here. And then he decides where the money must be spent, and not collaborating with us to say where is the greatest need. 90% of our informal trading areas do not have toilets, do not have running water, we do not have roofs, we do not have an enabling environment. Now, if you take the sale of tobacco, the single cigarettes away from them, you are now going to put more people onto the unemployed list. You're going to create more poverty. And what's going to happen to when people don't have jobs? They do crime. So let us realize, South Africans, let us realize the value of people, the humanity, no matter how small you are. You have to have decent conditions, decent livelihoods, and the enabling environment where you, your government, your local government should give us that enabling environment so we can grow, so we can grow into bigger businesses. Not happening, or it's been stunted. It's been stunted, and we need to look at who is really going to do transformation, do transition in our country.
Let's talk about collaboration quickly, because you just mentioned something very important. We can argue that the city of Cape Town has the most informal traders in the Western Cape, right? And I'm sure your stats back that up. The city of Cape Town's informal traders were not consulted on this bill. The hearings took place in Paarl, they took place in George, not in the place where we have the most informal traders. So this entire bill, we like to say nothing about us without us.
Yeah.
This bill was without us.
Absolutely.
That's what it was. Without those of us that are being bullied by the city. And the city, on top of that, is not even fighting for such a large part of the economy. Why is the city not introducing easier ways to become compliant? Why is the city not fighting for, like I say, that one-page document that allows you to sell this? And if you look at the regulations, it becomes even worse. Because there's a section in this bill that says, if you are operating within a certain distance from a school, to be set by the Minister of Health. They don't even set the distance in the bill. If you operate around a school, how many years is it? 15 years in prison. So what does this mean? It's 20. You are operating here at this house. Behind you a crash opens up.
Yeah.
You don't know that a crash just opened up. You are now a criminal. That's what this bill is doing. For 20 years, you can sit behind bars because you are operating near a school, and it doesn't even prescribe how far from the school. It doesn't say 50 meters, doesn't say 500, doesn't say 2 kilometers. So one of the big things that we're going to have to push for is to make sure that regulations are set up in consultation with informal traders. Because if we are in consultation with informal traders, then informal traders are going to tell you, look, I operate 250 meters away from a school, but I will do that ID verification. Here's a taxi rank right here. This is why I sell here, because it's a hotspot.
It should be clear. The regulations should be clear. That's a regulation.
And they should be in favor of the informal trader, because the informal trader, and this is a big thing we must also speak of here, the informal trader is not just selling a cigarette. A cigarette, we acknowledge the health crisis. A cigarette is something that is smoked by 40% of colored people. 40% of colored people smoke cigarettes. That is more than 2 times any other population group, right? But the bigger thing here, and we must look deeper, loose cigarettes, loose inches. Loose cigarettes, people who smoke loose cigarettes, smoke 35% less than people who buy the box.
That's right.
35%. So what does that mean? What does that mean? That means that that person, this woman, I want you to imagine this woman, right? She works a very difficult job. For her, a cigarette isn't not just for smoking. It's a lifeline, right? It's that little bit of stress that she fights. And she works this very difficult job. Now she has to get back. She buys that loose cigarette for, say, 5 rand. That's a fix for the day. 5 rand, that's 35 rand in a week, maybe, right? But now the bill comes in and says,
You need to buy a packet.
you can't buy that loose. You must buy the entire packet. So what is this doing? Packet is how much? 50, 42, right? Let's say 40 rand. You went from 5 rand to 40 rand. Not only is she going to start smoking more, but she must now choose between, guess what? Bread
Electricity.
in a boxy inches.
Yeah.
So what is this bill doing? We must look again at the public health considerations. When we talk about public health, that is education.
That's right.
I have no idea why this government wants to launch an attack on our informal traders and not an attack on smoking itself. To heal, because we know smoking causes lung cancer.
That's right.
We've all seen it on the box, right? Smoking causes lung cancer. We are aware of that. We accept it. Smokers even accept that it causes lung cancer. My father's a smoker. But what we also accept is education for the young ones, so that they don't end up picking up a cigarette. Ek is doodgeskrik van 'n sigaret. That's why I don't smoke a cigarette. It's because I'm scared of what a cigarette can do. I've seen what it does to lungs because of education. So let's educate. Let's put money into education, and money into our informal sector, big money into our informal sector, so that they are able to actually have legs to stand on against these retailers.
That's right. Just something that I want to mention, I'm going to give over to you. So you will also see not only the spas or shops are selling loose cigarettes. If you go into Spa, they also sell it. That indicates that the economy is not doing very well, because the people that goes to the big shops can't afford it anymore. So that's also a crisis. And other thing that I just want to mention, when something becomes illegal, it goes to the underworld. So now you already have people from wherever bringing in this Caesar pops and those cigarettes, right?
Yeah.
So now you're giving power to gangsters again, right? And they're going to sell cigarettes loose, and so now it will become like a drug with the NC. So now people are going to pay foreign for a loose cigarette. So more people are going to go to prison, meaning that this could have been avoided. Like you said, stricter rules, stricter measurements, so that we can see, govern what will be the outcome.
Yes, but also the government must fight crime.
That's right.
You cannot fight crime by passing another law.
Writing crime.
So they're not enforcing the existing law, but they want to write another piece of legislation now to say, okay, this is now more regulation,
Criminalizing.
So I say that they must get their house in order. You know what's happening with the Madlanga Commission now?
Aye.
Everything that's coming out, it is, a lot of people ask me, Marais, why are things looking so bad now that we, So I said, sometimes things must get worse before it gets better.
Yeah.
You see all this is coming out now because there was one government at the head of it all for 30 years. Now that we've got a government of national unity, and then we have a GNU with different political parties represented in different ministries, now it's coming out. But it's been hidden all these years. So it's something good that's happening in the country. However, we must still get our law enforcement of regulations and enforcement of the law in place. I'm also concerned about this. There's some people that says cigarettes are being sold at the deur fence, soos hulle sê. Jy weet, aan die skoolkinders. Ek weet nie of dit wel so is nie. Maar dan moet die polisie moet dit aanspreek. 'n Wet kan dit nie altyd doen nie. Jy weet, so we must get law enforcement on board. They must address it. And I think that also, Stan, one of the shocking stats that I've seen regarding this illicit cigarettes is that 90% of it is locally
produced.
locally domesticated here. It doesn't even come through the borders. They say only about 10% of less comes from Zimbabwe.
The biggest winners.
So the question, we've got a lot to be answered here. And at the end of the day, if we cannot get our laws enforced, we are in trouble. More legislation is not going to address this problem.
I just want to read questions and I'll give over to you now. Rosheda sê hy my leader, julle is baie daai kant, okay. Dan sê dit so Samima Dolly Sali. Honestly, all levels of government needs to ensure that public participation is done. That's probably on your question correctly, and call in relevant stakeholders on matters affecting people and traders. Education is very important. And then let's just go up here quickly. Government does not prioritize their one small wins without taking the vulnerable into consideration. They don't care. They are not on the ground and not going through it. They should attack drug dealers. They talk about health better, the health system or local hospitals. And then just the last one, and then I'll give over to you. Noah Makit says, law enforcement issue fines for people putting bread on their table. Informal traders are the best entrepreneurial course. You can learn people skills, sales, and financing. Magda Steiner says here, the prisons are already beyond full and severely understaffed. Criminalize it. Where are they going? Last one, agree on alternatives for job employment. Cigarettes is a drug and extremely harmful. More pressure on the health sector. Criminalization is not the answer though.
Why don't government invest in the tobacco industry? We only have 160 tobacco farms. Only 160. And of that 160 tobacco farms, we have 120 workers. And those 120 workers are feeding like 50 dependents. So why don't government invest? And then they can tighten the law in the rule regarding tobacco. Because we are more of a consumer nation than a producing nation. We consume, but we don't produce. So if government can invest 5 billion into a 100 billion rand industry, we're going to come out of, we can create more employment, and we can empower our people, and thus we can transfer over to our families. Because now we can build a lucrative market, export market, we can own this tobacco market within South Africa. But they don't invest. Why? Again, vraag yourself, wie is die grootste wenner? Die mense bestaan nog nie. Illegal cigarettes. It didn't happen by accident. No. It was by design. Sekere families en sekere mense het gebenefit. En baie van die political parties was gefund. Yeah, die illegal cigarette business. So are they going to stop it? Yeah. No, they're not going to stop it because this is the same people that's bringing the ball forward. So ooit weet wie gaat zwaar krijgen, ooit weet wie gaat suffer, maar wie gaat benefit. Dat is wat ons verrading.
Where does it come from also, we must ask? It's not a GNU bill. It doesn't come out of the 7th Parliament.
Yeah.
It comes out of the 6th Parliament. And in the 6th Parliament, there wasn't even an NCC in Parliament at that time to give them opdracht. There wasn't even a PA in Parliament at that time, right? In the 6th Parliament, it was an ANC majority. Now, the ANC, when they had majority, what would they do in Parliament? Steamroll bills through.
Yeah.
But now with the GNU, ons baklei voordat 'n ding deurgaan. We fight and make sure that it is the best bill possible. Now, while we were sitting here, I got a whiff of a vape. Somebody smoked a vape off screen, right? This is very important. Listen to this. You won't believe it. That vape, it's a simple thing. People post with vapes in their hand on Instagram, WhatsApp status, right? If you do that, if this bill is passed, even if it's a cigarette, if you do that, do you know what it counts as? It counts as advertising. An innocent girl in university, studying education, her family's last hope, she posts a vape on her story. 10 years imprisonment.
Yes.
10 years for an innocent girl who was busy smoking a vape on an Instagram story. So I want to say, when we look at the consultation, you can see young people were not spoken to in this thing also. You can again see the informal traders weren't spoken to. And there's a big thing here also. Can you imagine your life, the destiny of your life being decided by a font? So what is a font? It is, of course, the way that this is typed, right? It's the way it looks. This and this is a different font, right? If the font is different, that informal trader sits in jail for 10 years also.
Yeah.
The next thing that is shocking, and it's somewhat heartbreaking to listen to all of these things even, I can imagine. If you smoke cigarettes, you don't get a paper inside of that box that has a leaflet and explains things, right? You don't get it.
Yeah.
This bill says that they must be inside of those boxes. What if you are an informal trader, you sell boxes, but you buy them wholesale? You can't open the box or else you're not going to sell the box.
Yeah.
What if a box doesn't even have the paper in? You are in prison for 15 years. So when we talk about this issue of imprisonment and crime, we must look at the fact of the matter that we have a bigger issue. Where are the priorities? The priorities cannot be attacking informal traders and cigarettes. The priorities must be healing our communities.
That's right.
So that we can deal with crime. Not this punitive, and this is why I'm saying punitive is a big thing. There's parties that are not here today that say the best way to fix our communities is by criminalizing them through giving too many police and by criminalizing them by giving them too many regulations, right? If we do that, if we continue to criminalize, we're not going to have communities, we're going to exterminate our communities. The way that we solve this crime issue is through healing our communities. So if you're calling cigarettes a crime, if you're calling tobacco a crime, even a vape, I can't believe it, 10 years, 10 years for a vape. Even a vape, if you're calling a vape a crime and not dealing with the public health issue, you have agreed that criminalization, making our people criminals, is the solution and not healing. And I think that is the big emphasis that we must agree on today. It's a moral emphasis. If you disagree with healing as opposed to criminalization, you are on the wrong side of this debate.
That's right.
If you think that you are criminalizing and that's solving the issue, you are on the wrong side of this debate, and you are probably not in this room right now, and you maybe occupy an MMC position somewhere in the city of Cape Town. That might be the case. I don't have any comment on that, but I think we can all agree on that.
Well, I just wanted to say that, you know, come to think of what you said now, the whole bold story came from national. It wasn't taken down by local government. You know, there was never a session, Lucky, we were never in a session where the City of Cape Town said we need to discuss the tobacco bill. And let's look at the pros and cons. We never did that. We were invited to Paul, and other people went to George. Yes, I also went to George. But the thing is our local governments don't really care, and yet their main aim and responsibility is to create economic opportunity for the people within their wards and their precincts. Who are our biggest, I can't call them enemies, no, are the councillors. The councillors don't come forward to us, or we can't. Because of Hadif Kamal, I wrote to the sub-council office and I asked for a meeting. That's 2 weeks ago. Not even an acknowledgement, or we're going to set it up. So who do we go to as informal trade? Who do we go to help us resolve this matters of unemployment, poverty, crime? We find ourselves, you know, and what do we do? Most people give up. But not us. We are fighters. We're not giving up.
Why are we fooling ourselves? We're going to the doorstep of the enemy who created this law of confiscating our goods. We set up a meeting with the enemy that created the law of confiscating our goods. So we write to them and ask for a meeting. But remember, in council, there's 231 councillors, 128 for the Democratic Alliance and 103 for the opposition. So when we go and vote on certain items, they always win because they are the majority. So when the bylaws are amended or whatever item is passed, they voted for these items. They voted for these electricity increases. The Democratic Alliance, because they are the majority. They voted for these traders who suffer now daily on our streets because they are the majority. But yet we go and we go to the very same people who voted these items and passed these items. So how do we go about? We go to the enemy that created the problem. Then we sit there and think these people are going to help us. They're not going to help you because they are the problem. If the opposition say no, and they want to pass a bill, who's the majority? The Democratic Alliance. So what's going to happen? You can't go to the enemy and seek advice or help from the enemy. Maar nou dan goes, die council kan vir ja, die council het nie aan jou gewout. Die council het vir jou in consideration gevat nie. Hy moet vote vir sy
Wat is
paycheck.
die antwoord, Nasmi? Wat is die antwoord? Ons kan nie so vorentoe gaan nie.
Ons mense moet hulle uitvote. Ons mense moet hulle uitvote because they are the majority. As soos Liam nog gesê het, the GNU is now like different parties, consists of different parties.
yeah.
So parties can keep each other accountable now. The City of Cape Town, we can't keep them accountable. Who's the MMCs? Who's the MMCs? The Democratic Alliance. So all these portfolios are overseen by the Democratic Alliance. So when they go and you have a problem, you go sit and engage with the problem. Then he pretends, yes, you can come back next week. We can see what we can do. He already voted in favor of the motion. So what's going to happen now?
Stanley, I want to talk about the bylaw. But okay,
Just one thing that also came up, I think that there's this divide between what government decides and what the people needs. And it feels as if the gap between the two is just widened. You know, even with this piece of legislation, it came on, like Liam says, previous administration already. And the Freedom Front Plus was the one who actually pointed something out. We found out that when this bill was being discussed by the department or proposed, they never consulted NEDLAC. Now, NEDLAC is a National Economic and Labour Commission. where all the businesses are represented, the government is there, the communities are there, they all have, and they write recommendations to government when there's a new piece of legislation. And we found out, our member in Parliament, National Parliament, found out that they were never even consulted. So there's no public participation taking place when legislation is being, implemented or even proposed. So I think also in terms of this bill, there were 3 public participation processes, only 3 for the whole Western Cape. Now you ask yourself the question, who could make it to those public participation? If it was only 3 for the whole Western Cape, where there's over 7 million people living.
Many of the people don't have transport money, they can't get there, so it makes it difficult for them. Why not have something like Liam said, where the majority of the informal traders are in the Western Cape? I mean, they must actually
Too busy
be,
to attend it.
yeah, they must actually be kept accountable.
Can I just say something? Our government's process, there must be public participation.
Yes.
Apparently. But at the end of the day, there is so-called public participation, but nothing that the public brings to the table gets even taken into consideration.
Yeah.
No matter whether it's a law, whether it's a trading plan, it's just ticking off another box. For 30 years, it's been proven.
Yeah.
It's just ticking off a box, oh, we did it. If you ask for the outcome of any public participation, we must get it, we're going to send it. You never get any information of why proposals or suggestions was denied.
And no amendments.
No amendments. If they come to you, this is a trading plan, speaking from an informal trading perspective, and also informal trading sector. Who made us a sector? They made us a sector. Without laws in place, what do? They want to take retail's laws and pull it over us. We cannot afford checkers, business and hourly rates. We cannot. How can the informal sector be governed by formal laws as retail? Come on.
You know, one of the things the Minister of Health even said, and this is exactly to your point. The Minister of Health said that this bill stems from international best practice.
Yeah.
In South Africa, that has the most unique context in the world of inequality, of poverty, of unemployment, and people who don't earn great hourly wages. You want to take an international standard and practice and put it here.
Yeah.
We need South African solutions for South African problems,
That's right.
and that is what we are going to do. That is what we have to do, is to make it easy for our businesses to trade.
Okay. Sorry. I know a lot of people will maybe want to stone me, but whatever. Apartheid. Apartheid. We had sanctions against our country. We had sanctions against our country. But we built a helicopter for our army. Russia, Britain, America was prepared to drop sanctions to do trade for our helicopter. When are our leaders going to understand? Everything needed for South Africa is within South Africa's borders. They have stripped manufacturing. How do you take your raw product, sell it, and then buy it back? Come on! We've got everything built in within our country. 2020 has proven it. How many times do they want to see it happening? And where does it stem from? The informal sector. We are losing our skills. Where is our skills lying? In the informal sector. Because there isn't jobs. They will employ an engineer from Italy. When I was a teenager, the moment you sent your CV to Australia, to New Zealand, they just saw South Africa and that was it. They didn't even go through it. Why? Because of the level of skill our artisans have. Or had. Nowadays, 3-6 months, oh, you qualify as that idiot doesn't even know how to in the metal use a vernier. He doesn't. Some of them don't even know what a vernier is. But he's a qualified. Then you are an operator. You have to teach that person. Make that make sense. We see our South African CV, go in the bin. We need to get back to our roots. Back to manufacturing, because that is what we are.
Produce and
Yes.
not consume.
And that is the only way our country is going to flourish. Stop building malls. Our children don't want to be cashiers. They are forced there because there's nothing out there for them. And you that are so-called, you're 40, you are no longer employable. We have the skills. Give that person the opportunity to train so that our skills don't end up in the graveyard. We have the skills. The over 40s and 40s have the skills.
Absolutely.
But our skills are busy dying out. We are a great nation. We are a manufacturing, we are a trading nation. It's in our blood, whether you're pink, purple or orange. Get that part out of your head. Bring equality and true restoration to our land, man.
True restoration.
Stan,
Yes,
Stan, the stats just came out now, I think 3 or 4 days ago. As Ms. Eckardt has mentioned, in manufacturing alone, 62,000 jobs were lost. 62,000 jobs. Now I'm asking you, wie het altyd aangewerk? I'm not trying to make it a racial thing here. But you know, colored people used to work in manufacturing, used to work in the factories. Where are factories today? They closed all those factories. And now, our people are sitting at home. And like she says, nobody listens to us. But everything they do affects us.
Yeah.
You know, and I think it's time that the public participation processes in any law, they need to fix that. Because the people's voices matter. At the end of the day, you know, as a member of parliament, I always tell the people, when I speak in parliament, I'm representing you. I don't speak for myself. You put me here, you voted for my party to put me here. And so I think each one of us feel that way. We feel that our voices of our people on the ground start being heard. And as the manufacturing sectors, you know, it's shrinking basically. Our people are getting older. They're going to die, and there will be poverty, widespread poverty, worse than what it is now. So I think we must start limiting, our government must start limiting the imports. Or they must start subsidizing factories so that we can compete with the prices of those importing, you know. So something must be done, because at the end of the day, the colored people being the majority in the Western Cape, they becoming poorer here. And we are the ones who were here first in the Western Cape.
Just to let on quickly to the Bible, just to let on to what you said. Our fathers were builders. And so we would take the young man, my father would take the young man and they will go work with my father. They will become a plumber, a plasterer, electrician, whatever, when he was still work. And those kept him out of gangsterism. My grandmother was a broker. She used to sell flowers and stuff and food and stuff. My cousins could go work there. These type of informal trading kept our people away from gangsterism. So when you take it away from our people, the little bit that you have, did you notice when you walk in our streets, we don't trade there anymore. The spaza shop owners is now people that travel 9,000 kilometers to Cape Town, the Cape Flats, to open a spaza shop there, and they sell stuff. While our people are sitting at home, and they're going to say we are lazy, we don't want to work and all that stuff. Not all of us has money. That's why government needs to come in. We're going to subsidize you. We're going to give you money to start a business. If you go into the malls, the people that alter clothes, right? The tailors. It's not our people that have these shops.
We used anymore. That was our
It was our people.
That was our training.
We used to work for extra form. So all these things were taken away. And it's becoming worse because now we can't trade anymore. Eventually, there will only be a poor and a rich. There will be no in-between, if you ask me.
That's
So,
right. The gap is
We know what, let me just answer him on that. We know what's happening
Okay.
here. When apartheid ended, they didn't give back nothing of the country. They are still in possession of our country. INJ was an apartheid company. They still sell our waters. Seabas was an apartheid company. They still sell our waters. Our fishermen that live in Patriotic, in Houston, in St. Helena Bay, in Elands Bay, if we go into the waters, we get arrested because we are criminals, because we do not have a dompas. They call it a permit. Ek sê 'n dompas. Staan. Ons se goud, ons wat geleer om te mine. We mine the gold, but we don't produce the gold. Understand? But it's our gold. So everything of this country are still in the hands of the colonizers. Everything. Everything is in our diamonds, our gold, our minerals. It's easy, man. If you put 3 sheep on a piece of farm, they will live peacefully together because there's a lot of food for each and every one. As soon as you put 10,000 sheep on that same farm, tomorrow there's no more food. What's going to happen? The sheep are going to become violent with one another. And that is what's happening on the Cape Flats. Our communities is by design. It was created so we can eliminate one another.
That's right.
And when we talk about this, they say, it's you shooting yourself. But you designed the system for us to kill one another. We are living, as je lekker niet. Die kind bij langs die school. Waarom die kind school gaan? Bij die kan school. Nou, ik blijf in die community, ne? Ik blijf bij de Americans. Maar ik moet school gaan. Bij de ICL's. Wat gaat gebeuren? Ik ga niet meer morgen school doen.
Hulle verstaan nie dit nie.
Hulle gaan miskiet, hulle gaan mystiek. Nou, wie is die education department? Here is the problem. You cannot go to the same people that has created the problem. And just what ik Fadiel wil probeer sê. We need new people that understand our communities, that understand the dynamics of our communities, and understand where we come from and how we go about. Ik en mijn zuster en mijn broer en mijn andere broers allemaal in school gegaan. 3 kinders in een huis, allemaal gebed voor een school. Dat is die probleem. So nou, dat kan niet dat boete wat naam kijken op de school. Dat was geboelie nou. Verstaan? En daar was ik, hulle is pad van onze probleem. So you can't go and seek advice or help from the problem.
Nasmi, you must understand that they are the authorities. They own the land that we trade upon. The informal sector operates 99% on local government land. Who is local government?
The problem.
That's what I'm saying. And you've pointed out very, very pertinent points about we're going to the person that's harming us and we ask for help. But there's no alternative. They are the municipality. Now we go to national government. They say, oh, you know, there's 3 spheres of government, and each sphere of government, even with province and local government, oh no, you know, local government has their own sort of framework, and Western Cape doesn't get involved with that. And then national comes and we talk, but nothing happens. The bylaw that we are operating upon is 2009. Now we, as the organization, has rewritten the bylaw because the bylaw is punitive, it is archaic, it's draconian, and we're fighting on these issues. And you know what? Why Kamar was removed? The bylaw. Yeah. We couldn't override the bylaw. And law enforcement had to take this man, harm his family and that. Every year we are told the bylaws are under review, the policies are under review. Now the rest of you that's sitting in the City of Cape Town's council, make me understand, do you have to pass that bylaw and the Cape Town informal economist trading policy? Do you participate as all councillors in the City of Cape Town, Liam?
It is unequal because the committees are stacked with the Democratic Alliance. So no matter what we say, no matter the fight that we put up, these guys are in the majority every single time. And when you are in the majority like they are, you are no longer accountable to the people that put you there. You are accountable to the donors that funded you there. So this is the reality that we must fight with and that we must ensure is dealt with. And this is why I'm saying one of the big things in this entire push and one of the big things I'm standing for as I'm running for mayor of the city is to make it easier to do business in the city. And I'm not talking about this, we're going to fund you with 250 million. I'm talking about let's sit at the table, let's look at these laws and let's look at how these laws affect you. and how they can benefit our communities. Because if we sit and we talk our communities first, that is why we can have wonderful conversations, because we consider the community. If we sit and we focus on the bread and butter issues, we focus on keeping bread on the tables of our people and ensuring that our people have enough money to go around in our communities that is not going outside of our communities,
Absolutely. Why people
then we
going
can
to the
win.
malls?
So-
People are not buying from us enough. The economy is
And
dipping.
you've got wonderful things in your shops.
Beautiful.
You've got amazing things.
She's
I
a
mean,
manufacturer. I'm a
and you're
manufacturer.
wearing the most beautiful clothing, and this is what they are not allowing us. They want us to buy chain, factory, quick fashion stuff. They don't want us to buy from our own people.
The biggest winner.
And the biggest winner. And they are keeping money away from us with these high rates. They are keeping money away from us by forcing us to live far from where we work. And they are keeping money away from us by forcing us to go far to buy the things that we need to put in our houses. So what we are saying is we've got to be putting more money into the pockets of our ordinary Cape Townians, because right now, this city is not a city for everyone. It is a city for some, it is not a city for all. And we have to make sure that it is a city for all of us that are here.
For the poor.
For the
It
poorest
must
of the
be a
poor.
pro-poor city.
Absolutely.
Look at the shacks, look at the shanties, look at the, and then you look at the, I always say, we're on the Grand Parade. I'm the chairperson of the Grand Parade Traders, but I always say there's two Cape Towns. The one where the tourists are told, you don't go there. That is, dangerous area. Long Street up, that is where you go. Waterfront, that is where we go. And yet, we are the Cape Townians. We are the Cape people that is trading on this land. Building the city.
What's his name? That was it Guru Kama.
Hanif.
Kama Hanif, no? He sold potatoes,
Fruit and
5
veg.
potatoes for 10 rand. Right, 5 potatoes for 10 rand. Now that 5 potatoes for 10 rand can reach many homes because of our circumstances where we find ourselves in. Now by eliminating Kamar, taking him away from Goodwood, now you need to go to Shoprite or to Pick n Pay or to Checkers, where you now buy 5 potatoes for 30 rand. Verstaan waar we gaan die? Verstaan waar we gaan die?
petrol, ja.
Ons gaat allemaal die kleine players uithalen. Dan gaan die big businesses, they gonna profit. Fruit and veg. Hoekom? As jy by die robot staan, you send the robot, you see all your goods, you get a fine of 3,500 rand. If they catch you again, where you end up, you're not gonna pay that fine because you are paid like 120, 150 rand a day. Where do you end up? End up at Postmo. Understand? So they are not creating solutions for our people. They are creating problems. They're not going to build more schools. What are they planning on building now? More prisons. For who? Shee, who is the biggest winners? Wie gaat ek julle vra? Ons kyk verkeerd. Ons kyk aan die biggest losers. The biggest winners, white monopoly capital. They will win when they eliminate us as traders. They will win when they eliminate us as shop owners. They will win if they eliminate us from our communities.
There's just something that I want to add, and then we're going to go over to you. So, I've got friends that have CT, what do you call this? CMTs, right?
Oh, okay.
So, they make clothing, right? So, they make clothing for the YDEs and those people. And they get paid, they get the material, they get 40 rand to put a garment together, 50 rand, right? And she must pay the electricity, she must pay everybody, right? Let's say they spend the makeup out on the dress, it costs them about 150. That's what they get per dress or per whatever garment. It goes into that store. They did nothing, they just put it there. 3,500 rand. And that is how they pay us. They pay our people. It's almost like they say, they actually telling us, you only worth this amount. A foreigner came to me the other day and he said to me, I must show him the Cape Flats. And he said he's going to pay me because he knows we only get like $600 a month here. That is the average salary. So he will give me $100 a day to take him around. I asked him in Cape Flats, as Jay. I asked him because you come here with that mentality, because it's displayed. There's two cities here. It's Cape Town and the Cape Flats.
They exploit our desperation.
Yeah.
Let's call it by its name.
Yeah.
This is inequality, and in some cases, most cases, this is slavery. In 2025, they've continued the trend that they set hundreds of years ago, and we need to fix that. We need to fix that trend. So the more we start talking about the issue, what are we doing? there's people watching on these
Yeah,
cameras
that's
who are
right.
becoming aware. But we need to make sure that the people who are watching on these cameras are also knowing the solution
Yeah.
to the issue.
Yeah.
And the solution is that makes us most human. The solution is coming together. The solution is acknowledging and listening.
Yeah.
Because what have they done? When you govern for 20 years, don't let them fool you.
Yeah.
They've said the ANC is the issue. They've governed the city of Cape Town for 20 years. Those bylaws are
Yeah.
their bylaws. These speed cameras are their speed cameras. These drones that don't work are their drones that don't work. So when we look at all of these things, they must never ever lie to us and say that they are not the ones who are responsible for it. Frankly, they are responsible for taking food off of the table of that informal trader that was in Goodwood. I don't know how much more inhumane you can get. You have, think about this. Sit and think about this.
Yeah.
How bad of a person and how bad of a government do you have to be to look a man in his eyes and say, I'm going to take your stock and I'm going to sell it back to you. I'm going to take your stock and I'm also going to take that bread off your table. I'm going to take your stock and I'm also going to cut your rates. I'm going to make sure that your rates are through the roof because you are now zoned as a business.
Yeah.
So I want us to look at this thing holistically. Think about what else they do. When they try to formalize us, what are they doing? They are increasing the amount that you pay in your sector. So every single cost is meant to keep you here. Every single cost is meant to take money out of your pocket.
Yeah.
Every single cost is meant to make sure that you live paycheck to paycheck to paycheck to paycheck, so that in your lifetime, you can never ever see a good, 100% wonderful life, a dignified life. They want to make sure that in your lifetime, you have to wait until your grandchildren's a certain age so that they can live a good life. And I want to say, this is something that we are committed to addressing, to make sure that people live dignified, good, amazing lives with money in their pockets because they have a city that cares for them. And this is why I say, I can look at them and say brothers, because they understand that we must make the city a better place for everybody that lives inside of it. Not for the tourists that are coming tomorrow, not for the property developers, not for the donors of the DA. We must make this a good city for the residents of the city of Cape Town, the vast majority of whom live behind the mountain.
Absolutely.
Just something I want to touch on is also, and when I listened to Liam, it just triggered something.
Trigger.
I was once a member in the council. I was a city councillor before I became a member of parliament. And I asked the mayor about apartheid spatial design that's still in existence in the city of Cape Town. And how are we going to restore the people's dignity again? When you look at these die flats wat hulle so gebou het, apartheid government gebou het, they never considered the dignity of people when they built those flats in the 1950s. So when are we going to replace those flats? That is the big question. But now, with all the people, 150,000 people on an annual basis flocking to the Western Cape, who do you think they're going to prioritize now for housing? So when are we going to get restorative justice for our colored people that's living in those high-rise flats that they built in Lavender Hill, Bishop Lavis, where I grew up, nooit gedacht. So I think that there is, like I said, there's a bigger plan that's needed for the city of Cape Town, but we must address restorative justice of the colored people because we never got restorative justice. We're still waiting on District 6, where Constantia, all those places where our people were removed. So now the question is, and we perhaps going off topic now,
Nou is reg dat die mense
but
kan
let
hoor.
us just touch on it at least, because I think the people also want to know, when are we going to get back what we've lost?
Wat lost, stolen from us. Stolen.
You understand?
Was
When
stolen.
they removed our people and dropped us off and threw them in Lavender Hill
Yeah,
and threw them in Mitchell's Plain, I'm just saying.
you're right.
So that has not been placed on the agenda.
It's not
And we
their
must
urgency.
get it back on the agenda because we, at the end of the day, we were the ones here from the beginning, and those coming here from wherever they come on, they'll have to wait their turn.
You're right.
Colored people are the majority in the Western Cape. They decide who will govern the city of Cape Town. They decide, their votes are so powerful, they decide who will govern the Western Cape as well.
Yeah.
So I think that is something that we all, he called me a brother. Thanks, Liam. I'm one of his brothers now. I don't know why, but we one. Perhaps it's because we all have our own people in mind to bring about restorative justice.
I just want to add quickly, then I'm going to give over to you. So this young girl was removed. She went to the school in Constantia, which was at the time white school, right? It was called white, it's now Constantia Primary. She went to that school till grade 7, which was standard 4.
Yeah.
And then they were removed from Constantia. They were thrown in Lotus River, in Riepoklaan. They were living in a nice, biggest place there in Constantia, where everybody had sort of their own room. They were thrown in a one-bedroom room in Lotus River, and they lived there. There was no schools by the Patriotic government. And that girl, died 3 years ago. Before she died, she wanted to go to where she was born. It was called Carricus Cottage, where they live, where the mall currently is, the Constantia Mall. So I had to take the girl there every weekend with my mom to go show her, here you live, because it was so hard for our people to accept it, where they still lived as they were human. Remember, they gave the word color to us 75 years ago. This is a term that they made up. Some of our people are 80, 90. They weren't colored people back then. It is a term to take away what belonged to us. It's a term that actually classified us as you don't have a history. Although you were here before many people.
Yeah.
So these things are things we need to unpack. And this is the thing also why we don't have a say in government. This is why the tobacco bill will be implemented, because we don't matter. We are no one. We're not a race. We're just colored.
The tobacco bill, I must just say to you, Stan, from my information, a lot of the public participation was against it. And the ANC is no longer the majority on the committees.
No.
So, I don't know how they're going to get it through if everybody else is against it. So there's hope.
There's hope so.
That it will not be passed.
There's hope so.
We are hopeful that it will not be passed. Because like I said, at the end of the day, it's not going to serve our people. Our criminal justice system must be fixed. The police must be fixed so that we can enforce the law and we can carry on with our lives. That is what must be fixed in this country.
Okay. So he now spoke about apartheid and homes being built. I'm sorry to tell you, but X amount into so-called democracy, homes are still being built on the same apartheid principle. We are still a non-people. So, here's your friendo. Take a big step, and you at the end of your border.
Sure.
That is your property.
Yeah.
So, you have a pavement, almost 2 meters, 3 meters. So now everybody is coming to the front.
I agree with you.
To secure their homes, to secure their vehicles. And now what's going to happen now? People are going to pay fines for stealing city property to safeguard your family, to safeguard your property. Why? Because you are in a so-called RDP or BNG house, you should not own a car. That is the concession. According to building laws, if there's a geyser on the plan, you as a private builder, that's a homeowner that's building your house out of the ground, you cannot move in because it's a construction site. Unfortunately, the whole of Pelican Park is living on construction sites because we still do not have our solar geysers. So where is the equality? Oh, bylaws, oh law. There is no such thing as a law that is set in stone. Because if it was, we wouldn't have lawyers. There's grey areas. There is ways to get around or to find the humane way of doing things. But are they prepared to do it?
Yes.
That's the big question.
You know, Ms. Eckardt, if I can just, my father always said to me, Stan, that back in the day, they used to consult people to say, this is the type of houses we want to build for you. Which one do you prefer? Those days are gone. Like Ms. Eckardt said, vandag bou hulle vir jou 4x4. Hy's nou jou huis.
Maar jy moet
Daar's
nou
nie 'n plek. Daar's nie 'n plek vir jou kar of waar gaan die kinders speel? I was in council once, I asked, where must the children play? Where must the people park their vehicles? You never even considered that. But like I said, the governing party of the day in the city of Cape Town, we know the blue machine. They decide because they're the majority and everybody else must accept.
So we want to talk to Rosheda. Ons gaan nou van die topic of is the tobacco bill. But I can also understand the frustrations. I can understand.
I'm linking together.
It links in. But I think for tonight, we maybe just need to talk, as we come to an end almost, we've spoke for almost an hour and a half. As we come to an end, maybe just to maybe stop with something that, you know, when we want to leave. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I just wanted to tell our colleague here that I do sit in NEDLAC for the micro small businesses in a work stream. I participated there at NEDLAC with regard to the tobacco bill. I did a presentation in NEDLAC on the tobacco bill and how it will impact adversely on the informal sector. And yes, you're right, we're hoping that it will not be passed because it's just lying in Parliament at the moment. Yeah. But I want to talk to our audience. You know, the word unity. I want to talk about the fact that the informal economy is so huge, and when a matriculant leaves and he cannot find a job in a call center because that's where they are sitting, everybody that even with degrees are sitting in call centers, like the artisans and everything we spoke about, no more. We need to realize as this, I'm not going to use the word colored, I hate it. You know, I'm a human being. And I believe that if we realize what is being done to us in Cape Town and we can unite on certain basic humane issues. For example, the right of the informal trader to sit next to Busa, which we do at NEDLAC. That we have the same rights and that we're not going to be overruled. It's very sad, and it's true, Nasmi, what you said, that we are sitting with the city of Cape Town. Every second month we have a meeting with the different areas in the city. Every quarter, on the 20th, on Thursday, we're sitting as a steering committee for the Cape Peninsula with the directors. I'm thinking, who are we talking to? Are these people going to listen to us? Cape Townians, let's rise, unite, and fight for what is right, and it's going to make us beneficiaries of the wealth that is within our Cape Peninsula. We are probably, you know, we get these awards. I hear Alderman Voss speak about it, the best city in the world. And I think, how can that be? When I drive down to pick up Aisha in Hanover Park, the road is littered with filth. And I go, Rosheda, don't come now, there's shooting there. You know, our lives are in danger in our townships of that. The tobacco bill for the people who are unemployed was coming into the sector. Tobacco is one of the first, the cigarettes is one of the first products that they can turn around quickly. And as we've spoken in the beginning, the Gogos, the Mamas, they build the trading plan there, but 90% of the people are outside the trading plan because the trading plan doesn't make sense. So we are appealing to everyone to support us as informal traders. Someone in your family has been an informal trader. Informal traders has given rise to people like Liam and doctors and lawyers. So the informal traders is a special needs sector that needs to be looked after. We create our own jobs. How can our jobs be ripped away from us so that we cannot even have an income and we are back on the poverty line? So we are appealing to everyone that's watching and that's here with us tonight, that you support us as informal traders. Unite with us for decent living conditions, enabling environments. And please go to NITASA's website and sign the petition over there. Send a letter that you support us, because if we don't get the support, so many thousands will be out on the streets without an opportunity to earn a living and to sustain their family.
Anybody else want to say, Ish, we're going to come to a conclusion. I'm going to allow you guys to still speak maybe for 5 minutes, just to what you want to add.
Okay, I'll give a little closing remark, because you are saying that we are closing.
We almost hour and a half already.
So let me say this. That story at the end, I'm sure, touched all of us. That is people that is going to be on the street. I put myself in that person's shoes and said, if I lost my money today and I went to the street, what would I do? And the first instinct that came to my mind was, hey, I might just start something that's not necessarily formal. And I'm going to ask for advice from people in the sector. So the reality we must look at here is those thousands of families. 6 million, you said, informal traders in our country. If we look at the numbers, that is 18 million lives that are affected by this bill. So to you, I say, when we govern, not if, when we govern, nothing will be done about you that is without you. We will be around the table with you, we will listen to you, and we will make sure that life is easy to trade, so that life becomes easier to put bread on the table, to keep your water and lights on, and to make sure that you live a dignified life. I think many times we see laws that are always created without thinking about the poorest of the poor in our society. We don't think about the poorest of the poor in our society in the laws. And that is something that will change. And that is something that I can say today, that is something that we promise, to invest in the sector and to make sure that the sector grows so that we can have economic growth in our townships. We find also that many people talk about a township economy, but they don't put laws so that we can make sure we have a township economy.
That's right.
And when we govern, we are going to make sure that that township economy is flourishing, that our informal traders are flourishing, that you have the opportunities that you are supposed to have, so that you can live a dignified life. And on the tobacco bill, as I close, this cannot be punitive. Our bylaws and our laws cannot punish our people. They are meant to uplift our people. And if we find laws that are punishing our people, that are launching attacks on the menswaardigheid of our people, on the dignity of our people, we will stop them. And that is why I said, brother, because anybody that is watching this, and anybody that is on that side, that is looking at this issue and considers the person at the end of the day, that considers the value of a human being's life and ability to maintain a livelihood, that is my brother, that is my sister. And I want to say, we are 100% behind you. In my party, we'd say, ons is cement vast agter jou. And we will continue to be that.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Liam.
I say this it is, man. We've been governed how many years now? 24 years by the Democratic Alliance. So me one community that gave back to our colored communities. One community that gave back to colored people. Nothing. Here in West Coast, oh look here in West Coast, new apartment goes up, private developers, but there's no land available for housing. They create infill housing project here in Bonneville, in Heideveld. The last piece of land in our community they create, they take it and they build houses. Where do our children play? Where do our children go to relieve themselves? One football field for the whole of Bonneville. You stay in the B block, in the C block. You cannot go to that football field, you'll be gunned down. But now they can unveil a football field of 84 million. But who's going to enjoy the football field? But everybody. If there's opportunity available, only then our community will change. You cannot tell the guy to stop selling drugs if it does not give him options. That guy selling drugs, maybe to have a whole, to see to his family, I don't know. But give him an option. Stop selling drugs. Here's a contract for you. But there's no options available. So you cannot fight crime, but you don't give the people options. You create 1,000 police officers, put them on the street. They said they're going to say, keep the people safe of Cape Town. Nobody was kept safe. They went to, what's his name? Was it Hanif? They went to Hanif to go fetch his fruit. Where's the safety in that? There's no safety. Understand? So we cannot be governed by people that does not understand me and you. We cannot be governed by them. Simonstown was taken from us. District 6, Claremont, Goodwood, Roonebush, a lot of places. But they don't hear about it. So we need a new government that can see to our people. You cannot go into the future, but you do not correct the wrongs of the past. Now you want to say, we are upstanding citizens. Maar jou ouma en jou oupa het gelewe van ons se huis wat hulle gesteel het. So nou, hy wit kind, hy erf nou 'n huis van 3 of 4 miljoen rand. Wat kry wat erf ons? 'n council rental flat. Dan gooi jy mee met 'n dokument, we are now giving title deeds to the people. Hy vrou kan nie hy dak reg maak nie. Hy vrou kan nie sien, hy wys reg maak nie. Wat hy gee niks betal certificate nie, niks plumbing certificate nie. Hy gee vir 'n vrou wat nie verstaan wat sy kry nie. We are giving title deeds to Mas Hendriks. Môre moet Mas Hendriks die huis reg maak het hy sak het. Nou ons mense verstaan nie wat hulle doen nie. Dis almal publicity. Nou sit Mas Hendriks met as my huis. Môre trapie krag gaan Mas Hendriks reg kan maak. Nee. Want Mas Hendriks weekie en 'n pensioen is 1000 as 2 en 1800 gehad per krag. Wat eet Mas Hendriks? Ons mense kry swaar. Maar as ons boutyd kom, dan wou ons mense weer vir die probleem. Soos ek gesê het, you go and seek help by the problem. We need a new government. Where het nou die PA is, where het die NCC is, let's give it a try. Ons het nog nie gefail, but why do you keep us accountable for the failures of them? Almal sê, wat doen NCC oor crime? Wie is dan safety and security? Nie Fadiel Adams nie, nie die NCC nie. JP Smith. Hy gaan koop drones, hy gaan koop cameras, hy gaan koop eindes, wat is dat aeroplane se naam? Eagle Eye. Hy gaan koop sotspotte, maar wat is die result? Ons kinders, die in die pavements, word geskiet. Hulle kan 'n broker se goods confiscate, maar hulle kan nie 'n merchant nie weekend sit nie. En as 'n bylaw wat sê, if you sell drugs out of council rental property, you will be evicted. Hoeveel die merchants het hulle evicted? Nog niks nie. So they are contributing to the wrongs in our community. 1,000 opposition not going to help our community. Opportunities, working opportunities, financial opportunities. That will help our people. So simple. Our people need to change their vote.
Stan, just in closing, I do believe that the informal sector must be assisted so that they can also become part of a future formal sector. I don't think anybody wants to be an informal trader and not leave a legacy for his family to say, you know what, I started in my garage and now I've got a big store running. And that is what I foresee for my people, for our people, is that we progress. We can't stay where we are. We cannot accept that we're going to be part of the informal sector for the rest of our lives. What do you leave for your family, for your children? So I do believe that we must address that. The dignity of our people is important. Our dignity, when we don't have, your dignity is affected. And so they will do anything they can to survive. And this crime that's happening on the Cape Flats right now, sir, socio-economic challenges is aggravating the situation. If our people don't have jobs, they're going to continue to sell whatever they can to make the money to put food on the table. And that, for me, must be the focus. And in closing, dignity and freedom, the two goes together. Don't tell you have freedom and you don't have any regard for my dignity. It cannot exist without dignity. And so I believe that, as my colleague has said there, when it comes to housing, everything must consider the dignity of the people, create opportunities for advancement, and bring back the manufacturing sector again, back on its feet again. Because that's where most of our people used to be. We functioned in that sector. And in terms of this tobacco bill, sir, in closing, crime must be sorted out. this law cannot end the illicit trade. The police must do their job and they must come on board. But I do agree that our children must be protected and they must be educated so that when they're well educated and well informed, they can take informed decisions about their own future. Thank you. Thank you, Stanley.
Decisions if you educate them.
Thank you.
Okay, on closing, like I said when we started, the informal sector has been branded as a nuisance, and I hope this talk has opened up people's eyes to the fact that not all traders are criminals. Most traders are hard-working people that started something from nothing, no assistance, no legacy, no nothing, just pure resilience and believing in yourself and the need that your family has to eat. That is the driving force behind the informal sector. So please, instead of going to Woolworths or ShopRite, consider going to the informal sectors, because you will not only get your fruit and veg and things at a much cheaper price, but there's clothing, there's fabric, there's whatever. Because unfortunately, we are not considered eligible to work anymore. And what do? With the skills that we have acquired over the years, that is what we are using to create our own jobs, so that we don't have to stand in a line with our hands out, please boss, I need a bread. Thank you.
Rosheda?
Yeah. I think with the audience that we have with this wonderful Stanley here, I don't know if government is listening, but I got messages from them to say, what's happening tonight? I think a platform like this makes the awareness of the value that the informal economy brings to South Africa. I don't think people realize how dependent so many people, so many of the unemployed, and what is our rate, 38% unemployed at the moment?
Is more?
Is it more now? Now I'm talking about South Africa.
42.1. Expanded 42.1.
42% unemployed. And we're talking about the people that work for Rextroform and all these big factories and that. They moved into the informal sector because they lost their jobs in these big factories, and they found themselves with the skills, as Luki says. There's so much skill amongst our own people that we are in the informal sector. And please do not let the tobacco bill become legalized without being amended. We're not against the tobacco bill. We agree about the health conditions, but we agree on the education so that you can take informed decisions before you do the puff. But the puff is not illegal. And if you take it away from the informal trader, thousands upon thousands will be in the unemployed list. We do not want that to happen. We are appealing to government as well, and I hope they're watching and listening, that reconsider what you've done. Do not forget us. Although we call ourselves the invisible economy, we are a huge stakeholder in the economy of this country. We are moving into the G20. South Africa has become the host to this international event. Let it have meaningful outcome for the poor. The poor is so many more than those who have. The have-nots are still the majority that's struggling in our country. And they're all going out there, whether they are domestic workers, they are waste pickers, home-based workers, taxi drivers. That is the informal economy. Informal traders are huge. Consider the contribution that we make to the economy of South Africa. And let us also be valued by government with big budgets to build us, because we never see a budget. We are never successful in accessing the funding that government makes available. we never qualify. So many, thousands of us have applied. Oh no, you know, the red tape, and it's too rigid for us. We don't have the bank statements, we don't have an accountant and that. We make our money by selling loose cigarettes. Do not punish that single mother that is trying to earn her living from selling single cigarettes. And as you said earlier, if she's caught selling single cigarettes, if the bill is passed, 10 years imprisonment. If they are caught with their tobacco on the platforms, they are confiscated, the stock is confiscated and the fines, and if you can't pay the fine, what happens to you? You're arrested.
That's right.
We appeal to each and everyone in South Africa, and I think our audience is broader than Cape Town.
Yeah.
And I think we should appeal to everyone in South Africa who are pro-poor, who wants to see equality, be behind us, back us up, that this bill will be amended to afford the informal trader to continue with their work. I thank you,
And I
Stanley.
just want to add, you said this bill will not only apply to the people of the Western Cape, but to that of South Africa as well. So it's a national bill that we need to also, so everybody, national, you guys need to support him. Go to their Facebook page or their page, NITASA.org.
And we have Instagram, we have Facebook,
Yes,
we have everything.
They're very active, you know. So thank you so much, and please, it might sound small, it might sound simple, but it will destroy thousands of people's livelihoods. So please go and sign the petition and find out more about the bill. And also, next year, don't forget about it, because we easily forget about stuff. Let's be continuous on this topic. And then I just want to add, as I come to an end, one of my colleagues just messaged me, Stan, they will remove an informal trader from the robots, but can't watch smash and grabbers, even though they know the hotspots. And I think that is true. We need to call it out. Unfortunately, people are saying, yeah, but last week I did here, and I have everybody on here. I speak to everyone.
Yeah.
I think we need to keep everyone accountable, and that's why you guys can actually comment. Some people are afraid to have these conversations because it will bring up things from the past, and if we don't heal, this goes to the next generation, and also we don't compensate what the past has done to us. So thank you so much to everybody and all my guests. Thank you so much for joining me. I think it was a good one. We will have you here again, Mr. Mayor, incoming Mayor,
Inshallah.
to have a conversation again.
Inshallah.
And yeah, thank you so much, everybody. Have a blessed evening. Cheers.
Cape Town is the best in the world city in Cape Town.
Dus maar moeder klap op Facebook weer wat.
Preview.